This is Mirage. Mirage makes a living as a travel writer. He loves motorcycling, golf, playing the guitar, and just bumming around. He's decided to travel for a year to find himself. About time.
This is Johan. Johan is a photographer. Johan is Swedish, but he's lived and worked in 4 continents. He's done some pretty interesting gigs along the way. Johan's current obsession is shooting astral time lapses. He plans to backpack in India for a year of travel and adventure.
I've been fascinated by India ever since I was a child. When I think of it now, I can't put a finger on what it was about this country that attracted me. Perhaps it's the fact that life in India is so different from the sanitized existence I had in Luleå, in my hometown back in Sweden. The melting pot of people, language and cultures. Mirage was skeptical when we started our year-long travel in March this year. He didn't want to travel with someone who he thought would not be able to adapt quickly enough to the unique challenges that travel in India can throw at you. I don't blame him for thinking that way. India, with its flavors, colors, sounds, smells, not to speak of the cultural shock, can be a handful for any European. But I've lived and worked in 4 continents, and unlike Mirage, who's used to luxury, I have backpacked a fair bit around the world. Is this how you dress to get Himachali girls? It's hard to pinpoint special moments in our 8-month ride. For me, everything is new, and therefore special. But still, there have been times which literally took my breath away, like the time we boarded the canopy of a hot air balloon in Samode, on the way to Jaipur. Nothing like taking in the landscape from the air. But unlike a flight, a balloon blazes across the sky, giving you lots of time to take in the sights. I remember feeling envious of the life that Wout Bakker, our Dutch pilot, had, traveling across the world flying balloons. And that's the bit that really stays with me. People who have crafted these incredibly fulfilling lives for themselves.
Well, the most funny thing to fly, I will show you a picture later. There's one German company. They have a balloon that flies upside down.
What?
It's not real, but if you see it flying, the fires is flying upside down. But the top basket is not a real basket. It's made from fabric, and the real basket is in the balloon a little bit, so you cannot see it. Yeah, it's a German, it's Festo company. It's very nice to fly that balloon, but like in the US, if we fly that balloon in the US, we call 911 first.
Why?
Because we tell the people if anybody calls for a balloon accident, there's something upside down inverted. It's just supposed to be like that. Just don't react on it, and we will call you back after we land.
I don't know if there's a landscape that India doesn't have. Less than a month after traipsing around in the desert sands, I found myself in a chairlift slowly making its way up a mountain in complete fog.
They're going to show us how it's done. Actually, they're going to show Johan how it's done.
Yeah. They're gonna first see if Johan knows how it's done.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna be like, all right, left foot forward.
I hadn't been on a snowboard for many years, and then I found myself going down a treacherous mountain in Gulmarg. When the clouds rolled in, we were stuck in very low visibility and had to board over trodden lines to be able to see anything. The ride down Kongdori Mountain was exhilarating to say the least, also foolhardy if you ask me, but I made it down in one piece, and that's all that matters. Some areas were completely unridden. And I got a chance to try out Gulmarg's famous powder, living every snowboarder's dream of gliding over freshly fallen snow. I did struggle a wee bit and found myself gasping for air at some points. But I had to remind myself that these hills are more than twice the altitude of the highest slopes in Sweden. One of the things that excites me the most about traveling is extreme sports activities, where the adrenaline gets going. And in the past year, I've gotten to try out almost every conceivable adventure sports available in northern India. In Kulu Valley, I went paragliding from Dobi, near Nagar town, which has the biggest height difference of all jump-off points in the area. In Vashish, near Manali, tired after a long trek, we decided to take a shortcut using this zip line.
All set.
I'm too fat, bro.
From Kulu Valley to the hills around Shimla, the state of Himachal Pradesh is a paradise for adventure sport. Growing up in Sweden, I loved mountain biking and spent many years of my youth riding around Luleå. I wasn't nervous about my abilities, but would I be able to navigate the treacherous trails near Kufri? It didn't help that I was riding with some of the finest young riders in India. Thankfully, my skills on a mountain bike have stayed with me. In 10 minutes I got my bearings, and in half an hour I even showed off some tricks to the youngsters. There was no competition though. These kids had some serious endurance and managed to pedal back uphill all the way in almost the same time it took us in a car. Next up, a mountain man's workout. On our travels, we met several people with exceptional fitness levels. In Manali, a fitness enthusiast and mountaineer put us to the test. I did rather well, if I say so myself.
So the next one that we are going to try is called figure of 4, and the name is so because of the shape that you make, okay, when you are climbing. Basically it is used while climbing an overhang or climbing a ceiling, because your weight is actually not on your feet, okay, so you have to use a lot of upper body strength and core, okay, and basically like forearms and shoulders and a lot of core. Come on. Yeah, lock it on your wrist, and this can be free, or you can lock, yeah. So you release. Yeah, nice.
I did rather well, if I may say so myself. Then there was Rajiv Kati, an international level MMA fighter who I grappled with in Delhi.
What's my competition? Only me. Go head to head with my enemies and smashing the smithereens. Calisthenics burning calories. Bring that fire ready to blow up. Now we're the kerosene. I'm addicted to winning, feel the adrenaline. I'm a go-getter, get at me. Tighter, fighter, straight like
Kati is half my size and thrice as strong. I didn't stand a chance against these guys, who had practiced these techniques for many years. Although exhausting, it was a great evening. On a fortunately cloudy day during the summer, I went for a track warrior competition, where the first stage of the competition was to ride a 4x4 gypsy around the track. Given that no one even asked me before putting my name up for this endurance run in Gurugram, I started with all guns blazing. Forgot to pace myself out and nearly passed out of exhaustion. Here we can see me running out of energy in 3, 2, 1, burn. Here I thought if I could just die here, I wouldn't have to finish the race. I survived to tell the tale, barely. Things took a masochistic turn in Shimla at the onset of winter. At a feel-good gathering, I found myself among a group of people who had volunteered to dive into a pool for an ice bath called the Wim Hof method, and used as a training exercise for self-development. This involved dipping into water that was on the verge of freezing over. After a bit of focus and determination, the shivering stopped, and it was easy to see mind over matter in action. On our travels around the country, I ran into a number of people who, like me, came to visit India but stayed on and made it their home.
Oh, hey.
How you doing?
Long time no see.
I ordered you a limonana.
My favorite.
I remember how we had limonanas here before, man. This is great. This place is great for that, no?
Right kind of weather too.
Talissa Patterson lives and studies in Rishikesh and is fully immersed in the Indian way of life. Looks like there's a few different options here.
Yeah.
Now, what is the difference on these ones?
So I think these have slightly more rubber and less cork, and this one has mostly cork and less rubber. So,
What do you recommend?
I mean, in terms of grip in this hot weather with sweat, I think this one would be the one to go for.
Probably cheaper too, with less cork in it.
Yeah. How does it feel?
It feels good, yeah.
Nice grip.
Whoa. That looks good to me. I'll take this one. I met up with her for a yoga session on the ghats of the Ganga in the roasting heat of the summer. Can't wait to go for it. Talissa took me for a ride afterward. I've ridden a lot in India, but that was probably the only time I got to ride pillion. Talissa didn't seem particularly amused by my suggestion to ride. That's great. Let's take it for a spin. Do you want me to drive or? Mirage and I both have a thing for motorcycles, and he's rigged up motorcycles for us a number of times. In the summer he took off to Prague for a Harley-Davidson parade. In a rare gesture of kindness, he arranged a gorgeous adventure machine for me, and I took a solo trip to Ramgarh. This bike was something else. It was the first time I rode a big-engined machine, and its power was exhilarating. For its size, it handled rather well too. People overseas have often asked me about riding in India. It takes some getting used to, for sure. Here's a quick list of things you need to adapt to. Road conditions can be patchy. Adherence to traffic rules is sporadic. Plus, you need to watch out for stray dogs and cattle on the road. But do not let this discourage you. As long as you're not overspeeding and have your wits about you, traveling in India on a motorcycle is one of the most rewarding traveling experiences you can have anywhere on the planet. Just last month, both of us rode to Bharatpur in Rajasthan. Sometimes when I see how people can set up shop just about anywhere, it amazes me to see the ingenuity of how workers in India can get by running a small business without much more than a mirror and a chair. I suppose that for many Indians this is just a slice of daily life. For me it's not. I suppose it's the unconventionality I feel of getting a shave on the side of the road that I find amusing. Keoladeo National Park, I traded the bike for a slightly simpler mode of transport. Cycle rickshaws are the best way to get around in the park. I asked the rickshaw puller if I could have a go, much to the amusement of other visitors. It's much trickier than it looks, too.
Alright, sorted. Ah, yeah. You know, Johan always likes to work out first thing in the morning, so I don't feel guilty about this.
You wouldn't feel guilty even.
I was going to say that, but I didn't, and you said it. That's true.
Even though I didn't think much of it at the time, it seemed to have really struck a chord with people out there, and I keep hearing about it. We had so much fun on those bikes that instead of heading back, we rode all the way to Shekhawati. That really turned out to be quite a bonus, because in Shekhawati I saw Rajasthan's hinterland, a far cry from cities like Jaipur and Udaipur. But as far as true adventure goes, nothing beats the bike ride we took in Delhi, looking for a blue water lake that sounded like a wild goose chase. Not only did we find it, but we dove right in.
Oh, gorgeous lake. You fancy taking a dip?
I'm pretty sure I will.
Hello जी. मैं मिराज हूँ, ये योहान है. हमने आपकी झील के बारे में सुना था.
विकास बढ़ाना.
विकास बढ़ाना. This is Johan Kastel.
Hi, nice to meet you.
तैरते हो आप इसमें?
नहीं तैरते हो, साइड में तैरते हो वहाँ पे.
Safe है तैरने के लिए? Safe to swim. I think you should go first.
Just to make sure.
And if you can make it back.
Just to make sure there's no crocodiles for you.
मगरमच्छ तो नहीं है? No, only fish.
That has to be the most unexpected experience I've ever had. But of all the experiences I've had in the last year, nothing has made a deeper impression than the street food. And India is really one of those places where you can find the most delicious food in the most hectic places. Now that my constitution has been adequately fortified, I can handle anything. Let me say for the record, I've never had kebabs like the fantastic Tuji kebab skewers grilling over coals across Srinagar's Dal Lake. These kebabs must be among the best in the country. Or the fabulous kebabs at Galib Kebabs in Nizamuddin in Delhi. I had no idea that such fantastic street food exists outside of Old Delhi. That is, until we took a food walk with an expert, Anubhav Sapra, who runs Delhi Food Walks.
Oh, Baba, Shami, क्या खाना है भाई? What do you want to have? क्या खाएं? What should we have? The boti kebab.
Yeah, boti kebab, then we'll Sikh kebab and Shami kebab, all three of them.
Wow.
Boti, Shami or Sikh?
Now here comes the kebab.
Okay then.
There's the kebab.
Go for it.
Wow.
You should squeeze some lemon on it. All right. Wow.
You can see how soft this kebab is. Wow.
Okay, what's next?
Now we are trying boti kebab.
Boti kebab.
So that means that it's like a chunk of meat. It's not
Yeah.
minced.
Again with butter.
Now what, folks? Let's go. बहुत हो गया. Oh.
While I'm a natural carnivore, the berdi, the puri, and the potato curry combo we had in Agra, man, that really took the cake.
दो बेड़ी दियो यार.
A special procedure of preparing this. Looks almost like a combination of dal and that minced sauce.
No, it's basically
They have their own unique
आलू and
one
puri.
for Agra or what?
देना यार दो बेड़ी. Beedi it's called.
Beedi. So it's like the Agra version of a puri sabji.
But bro, I've just picked it up right now. I thought it looked like puri. There you go.
All right.
There you go,
cheers.
man. Healthy food for you first thing in the morning.
All right.
Thank you. Great. That's like looks like a deep fried puri,
Yeah.
and that looks like, like bhaji, potatoes.
And this is a banana leaf it's served on, or what? Organic, organic little plate. It's an interesting taste, but I don't think I'm going to adopt this as my breakfast habit.
It's incredibly healthy, Johan.
You reckon? Deep fried though. Come
Bro,
on.
this is soul food.
What?
Yeah. I know you have all this. I know you're on this health thing, but you got to think about soul food. Bro. This is soul food.
That was the moment, now that I think about it, when India finally felt like home. For a change, even Mirage agreed.
You should adopt an Indian last name. Seriously.
Johan.
When looking back at the years I've had of traveling, I'm often reflecting on how my thinking about the traveling that I'm doing has also changed. In 2007, when it all began, I was traveling and taking pictures along the way, dreaming about one day getting paid to travel. I quickly envisioned a life of traveling by lifestyle. Zip forward 5 years and I'm not just traveling and taking photos as an added interest. I'm now traveling just to take photos, to find scenic vistas in remote corners of the Himalayas. I discovered how rewarding it can be to shoot time lapses, which turned into a passion in itself. Teaming up with Mirage and traveling with a writer turned into a great way to learn more about storytelling and getting a deeper understanding of the places visited. We have gone through most of what is somewhat accessible by car from Delhi and explored many different parts of the hills. Some of the most memorable experiences that come to mind must be the views from Bobda's place in Kasardevi, the views from Kaliatop, the sunrise from a hot air balloon zipping over the rural landscape in Rajasthan, the spectacular sunrise over the Taj Mahal in Agra. That one sunrise we saw over Missouri town I think turned out great. The camp out with Bonnie under a starry sky, where fires on sticks lit up the tents. That was indeed a beautiful scene.